Joining us now to talk more is U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine and Senior Director of the Eurasia Center at the Atlantic Council, Ambassador John Herbst. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Because we have this fresh video today after that blow up, the showdown that we had at the Oval Office on Friday of this summit happening in London, I want to take a look at what Keir Starmer says about this plan that he's outlining. Take a listen.
We've agreed that the UK, France and others will work with Ukraine on a plan to stop the fighting. Then we'll discuss that plan with the United States and take it forward together.
All right, well, what do you think a new proposal is really going to look like? And do you think the U.S. in the end is going to go along with the Europeans?
I think that Starmer and Macron have really stepped up. Over the last 2 weeks, the single brightest picture regarding an eventual peace in Ukraine has come from their initiative to send European troops to Ukraine as peace enforcers. This is very much along the lines that President Trump suggested in his approach to peace as a deterrence to future Russian aggression. And Starmer and Macron had excellent visits in Washington last week. And Starmer was very smart to be in touch with Trump as he proceeded for this London gathering. So this is a very positive development.
Okay, and Starmer also speaking about the need for European nations to contribute more money to Ukraine's war effort. Let's listen to that too.
We cannot accept a weak deal like Minsk, which Russia can breach with ease. Instead, any deal must be backed by strength. Every nation must contribute to that in the best way that it can, bringing different capabilities and support to the table.
I mean, they appear to think this is really dire, and they don't want Putin to march right through Europe as well. So do you agree that European nations need to do more? And has it taken this showdown in the Oval Office to get them to act more speedily?
They absolutely need to do more. I think we saw even before what happened last Friday in the Oval Office, that unfortunate clash, the Europeans stepping up. But that may have been driven by the, I would say, peculiar things that President Trump said after his phone call with Vladimir Putin on February 12, when he incorrectly described Zelensky as a dictator and incorrectly suggested that that Ukraine rather than Russia was responsible for Moscow's egregious invasion of Ukraine. Democrats
say this is all evidence that Trump, to their worst fears, is cozying up to Putin. Do you think he is?
I think that that's a reasonable analysis, but I don't think it's the only one, and I don't think it's the most likely one. I think that Trump has made clear, going back months before, even before the election, that he can establish a peace based upon 4 elements: Ukrainian compromising on territory and NATO, and Russia compromising on deployment of European peace forces to Ukraine and arming Ukraine. And if Trump were to actually sell Ukraine out to Putin, he would look very foolish after he said he'd get a just and durable peace using those 4 elements.
Mm-hmm. Well, Starmer also announced a new weapons deal for Ukraine at the presser. Let's take a listen to that too.
And today I'm announcing a new deal which allows Ukraine to use £1.6 billion of UK export finance to buy more than 5,000 air defence missiles.
So talk about the differences in this. How much of a difference does this sort of a deal make versus the more than $100 billion the United States has poured into Ukraine?
Well, first, despite some bad information being floated from MAGA circles in the United States, the Europeans have given like 60% of aid to Ukraine compared to 40% for the United States. So Europe has done more. But it's very important that the United States be part of this. We have the best military in the world. We have the best weapons in the world. And those weapons are essential for Ukraine's defense. So it's critical that that supply of weapons from the United States continue. It need not continue as a grant from the United States, as our previous aid went. It could go as a purchase. It could grow as a loan. It could go in exchange for Ukrainian rare earth and critical minerals, but those weapons need to flow. The Europeans understand that. The Ukrainians understand that. I think that the Trump administration understands it. And despite all the nastiness in the Oval Office last Friday, it looks like the weapons that were designated for Ukraine last year continue to move to Ukraine.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.